NEET PG Rank Booster Sessions PSM Quiz. Hello friends, I am Dr. Vivek Jain, Faculty of Preventive and Social Medicine, that is Community Medicine, and I welcome you to the grand finale weekend for the complete PSM course revision in the form of PSM Quiz. Here we come to quiz number 9, and today I will be covering the topics health planning and management, health education, and all the allied sciences in today's session. So friends, are you ready? Now before we go, I am sure all of you must have understood the quiz format till now. Take a pen and a paper. You need to jot down answers. We'll discuss alongside in the chat box. Also remember, at the end of this session, I'll tell you the expected score in this quiz. You can compare it with your own score and this will help you improvise further. Friends, I will try to simulate the exact examination scenario while you are attempting the quiz. So what I will do, in exam, each question you get around 45 seconds to 1 minute minimum. So what I'll do, I'll read the question along with you, try to understand the question. Then I will give you 20 seconds to mark the answer. If the question is lengthier, you will get even more time from my side. So guys and girls, what are you waiting for? If you are ready, shall we start the quiz? So here on your screen comes question number 1 for quiz number 9. Match the biomedical waste with their colored dustbins according to the biomedical waste management guidelines. 4 types of biomedical waste are given: A. Catheter, B. Torn registration forms, C is expired drug, and D is antibiotic bottle. On the right column you are given 1 is blue color, 2 is yellow, 3 is green, 4th is red. It's a match the following type of question. You can write A1, B2, C3, D4 like so on, and your time starts now. Don't hurry friends, for this question you will get double the time. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. So friends, what is the answer you have got? Let us look at choice by choice according to the latest biomedical waste management guidelines. We look at number A, catheter. Catheter is which type of biomedical waste? This is a contaminated recyclable waste. And when we have contaminated recyclable waste, catheters, plastic syringe, cannula, they are disposed of in red colored bag. So I can say A4. Now let us look at choice number B. Torn registration forms. It's exactly not a biomedical waste. So it will go into green colored bin. Expired medications, this will go into yellow colored bin. So I can say B3, C2. Friends, yellow bag ideally should be incinerated. So it contains majority type of biomedical waste for disposal. So it will include anatomical waste, animal waste, microbiological and biotechnological waste. It will also include expired drugs and cytotoxic medications. It will also include the chemical waste. Along with that, bed linen mattresses are also included in this particular type of group. Similarly, soiled waste is also disposed in yellow bag for incineration. Now look at antibiotic bottle. Glassware waste along with metallic body implants are disposed of in blue category. So I can say D1, and this blue category waste is sent for recycling as a final method of disposal. So friends, your answer should be A4, B3, C2 and D1. Are you right? So let us move to question number 2. Identify the symbol shown in the photograph. Please look at the symbol carefully. Choices given are recycling, greenhouse effect, afforestation, radiation hazard, and your time starts now. One of the easiest questions in the quiz today. You have seen this many times on many things. That's it, friends. So what is the answer to this question? Very right. This is actually a symbol of or logo of recycling. Now, if you look very carefully, many times when you see PET bottles in your hands or some other type of waste, if it is recyclable, you will find this logo or symbol, and sometimes you will find number in between. Sometimes 1 is written, sometimes 2 is written, sometimes 3 is written. What does it imply? It is actually a number based coding system for different type of waste. Let's look at that. Number 1 is PET. That is polyethylene tetraphthalate. Number 2 if written, this is HDPE. What is that? High density polyethylene. Number 4 is LDPE, low density polyethylene. Number 3 is the usual one which all of us know, PVC. So if it is written number 3 inside, PVC, polyvinyl chloride type of waste. Number 5, this is PP, polypropylene. Number 6, PS, polystyrene, and number 7 is others. So although this classification has never been asked, this is just to tell you these numbers are codings for different type of materials which should be recycled. We move further. We now look at question number 3. Arrange the following phases of disaster cycle in a logical sequence, and you are given different choices where disaster impact, mitigation, rehabilitation and response choices are there, and your time starts now. This is a sequential arrangement type of question. Okay friends, take 5 to 7 more seconds. Okay, that's it. Let's see. See, whenever a disaster strikes, suppose there is an earthquake, flood, tsunami, we say this is number 1 stage of cycle, impact. After impact, the immediate thing is, of course, medical relief, rescue and first aid. But beside that, a lot of other components are also there in response phase. After response, now it is a long-term process where we try to bring back life towards normal. That is the third phase, rehabilitation. After that, we shift to mitigation. See, what is mitigation? Mitigation is we cannot prevent a disaster, but at least when a disaster occurs, at least we should have already few things in place which will minimize the hazard or risk of a hazard converted into a disaster. Take an example. Suppose it is a earthquake prone area. So what will be mitigation efforts? Try to educate public. Try to tell public that do not construct building more than 1 floor high. Use maximum wooden materials in construction of building. This is mitigation effort. And after mitigation, the last step is preparedness. Now we have all segments ready, waiting for the next disaster. God forbid, if it happens, this will complete the disaster cycle. So read all the choices carefully. Which is the best and the correct answer? That is choice number B. Impact, response, rehabilitation, mitigation, disaster cycle stages. We move to question number 4. Lead poisoning parameters are given, their levels are given. It is a match the following type of question: coproporphyrin in urine, aminolevulinic acid in urine, lead in urine, lead in blood. You can write the answer as A1, B2, C3, D4 like so on, and your time starts now. For this question you will get double the time. Hurry up, friends. Four, three, two, one. That's it, friends. So friends, what is the answer to this particular question? Let's see. If you look at coproporphyrin in urine, its cutoff is 150 milligram per liter. If it is more than that, it indicates actually exposure. If you look at choice number B, ALAU, aminolevulinic acid in urine, its cutoff is choice number 2, more than 5 milligram per liter, and it indicates absorption of lead. If you look at lead levels in urine, its cutoff is 0.8 milligram per liter, and if you find that this indicates actually both exposure along with that absorption, and the cutoff for lead levels in blood is choice number 1, more than 70 milligram per 100 ml. If it is more than that, lead levels in blood, this is the time when clinical symptoms appear. So not just cutoff levels, their relative clinical importance also you should know how to tackle such a patient in clinical OPDs. Now match your answer. How many of you got it correct? A 3, B 2, C 4, D 1. This is the correct match. On your screen now comes question number 5. All are true about bagasosis except they are asking. Choices are form of extrinsic allergic alveolitis, keep moisture content more than 10 in sugar mills to control the disease, spray Bagasse with 2% propionic acid for prevention, and thermoactinomyces saccharii may be found, and your time starts now. Time up friends. So friends, first you tell me what exactly is bagasosis. Bagasosis is a type of pneumoconiosis. It occurs due to occupational exposure to? No. Sugarcane is not the correct answer. It is actually Bagasse. Sugarcane is harmless, but in sugar mill or sugar industry, when sugarcane is processed for production of sugar, Bagasse is produced. That is actually responsible for bagasosis pneumoconiosis, which occur when a person is exposed to the dust. Now let us look at choice by choice. Let's look at choice number A. Is it a form of extrinsic allergic alveolitis? This is correct. Look at choice number D. Thermoactinomyces saccharii may be found. This is correct. Along with thermoactinomyces saccharii, you can also find Thermoactinomyces vulgaris as well as Micropolyspora fenii also in bagasosis. But out of them, if you have to mark a single answer, no doubt, Thermoactinomyces saccharii is the single best answer. Look at choice number C. 2% propionic acid should be used. Yes, 2% propionic acid spray. If done on Bagasse, it prevents generation of dust. It can prevent bagasosis. So only option left is choice number B. When you recommend it in industry, the moisture content recommended is not more than 10%. Rather, this should be kept more than 20% to prevent the emergence of dust in the environment for prevention and control of bagasosis in the industry. So answer to this question number 5 is choice number B. Let us look at next question, question number 6. It is a fill in the blank type of question. a logo is given and you are asked what is the contribution by employer, contribution by employee, and what is the sickness benefit duration, and your time starts now. Okay friends, take 5 more seconds. That's it. So friends, first you tell me, this is which entity we are talking of. The logo is of, very right, ESI Corporation. What is ESI? This is Employees State Insurance, a insurance system which is covered by which ministry? That is Ministry of Labor. In fact, Union Minister of Labor is the chairperson of ESI Corporation. Now we understand insurance system. People pay premium on a regular basis. Any problem occurs, insurance company will take care of it. So in this case, when a premium has to be paid, it is paid on a monthly basis by both employer and employee. So they are asking what is the contribution by them according to their wages. Then employer has to contribute 3.25%. Employee has to contribute 0.75% of wages. Total is 4% contribution. Please remember, these are the current revised latest guidelines in the country. Do not remember the older values. Now, this all cost has to be borne by center is to state in a ratio of 7 parts is to 1 part. Is everyone eligible for ESI? No. Person should be working within the definition of a factory and the income cutoff is less than 21,000 per month. They can become beneficiary. Less than 25,000 is the cutoff if a person has some disability also. Several benefits are available: sickness benefit, maternity benefit, rehabilitation benefit, funeral expenses, disablement benefit, like so on. Sickness benefit, what is the duration given? That is given for a duration of 91 days and it is given at a rate of 70% wages. Extended sickness benefit is given at what rate? It is 80% wages, and for how long? Very right, that is 2 years. Good. Let us move to question number 7. Hardy-Weinberg law is not applicable for which of the following? Infinitely large population, random mating population, mutations, or static population, and your time starts now. So friends, what is the answer? First of all, you tell me what exactly is this Hardy-Weinberg law. It is a law of population genetics. And this is one law whose definition or concept is asked in your papers. What exactly this law says? It says frequency of genes always remain constant from one generation to another. In fact, it is represented by a very popular mathematical equation also. A plus b whole square is a square plus b square plus 2ab. Now, what are the conditions in which Hardy-Weinberg law is applicable? It is applicable if it is a large population. Second, if it is a random mating population. And third, it is a static population. So what is the situation in which Hardy-Weinberg law is not applicable? It is not applicable if it is a small population, if it is non-random mating population, if it is dynamic population, if there is a migration in the population, if there are mutations, see, if there are mutations, definitely frequency of genes can increase or decrease. If there is gene flow, if there is gene drift, also it is not applicable if there is assortative mating. It is also not applicable on Darwin's theory of natural selection. So any type of selective mating also it is not applicable. So now you just have to read the choices carefully. Answer is choice number C. Mutations, Hardy-Weinberg law is not applicable. Let us move to the next question. Question number 8. Introduction of gene sequence into a cell to modify its behavior is known as genomics, gene therapy, DNA technology or euthenics. And your time starts now. Fairly easy definition based question, friends. Older question you have to attempt correctly. So what is the answer, friends? Let's see. First we should know what is genome. Genome is sum total of all genetic information, and this is genetic information of one individual which is encoded on the DNA. And what is study of this human genome known as? That is genomics. So genomics is study of human genome. What is gene therapy? This question is actually based on gene therapy. So answer is gene therapy. When we try to introduce a gene sequence into a cell so that we are able to modify its behavior and or function, that is gene therapy. What is DNA technology? DNA technology is development of new diagnostic techniques like restriction enzymes. Choice number D, euthenics. This is actually environmental manipulation which will allow complete expression of genome of genes in an individual. So answer is choice number B. Question number 9. Let us move to that. It is a fill in the blank type of question. What is the current suicide rate in India? And what is the most common mode of suicide? Your time starts now. Popular question, friends. I am sure you know the answer. Okay, that's it. So friends, let us look at first what is the current suicide rate in the country. This is based on National Crime Records Bureau data 2019 report I am quoting. The current suicide rate in the country is 10.4 per 1 lakh population every year. And what is the most common mode? Is it poisoning? Is it drowning? Is it hanging? Or is it burning oblique self-immolation? It is actually hanging. Hanging is followed by poisoning, to be followed by drowning, to be followed by self-immolation. If you look at most common cause of suicide in the country, that is actually family problems. Second most common cause of suicide in the country has been found to be illness in the person's body. So please remember, suicide rate in the country earlier 10.2, now it is 10.4. Question number 10. 4 to 8 persons who are qualified to talk about a health topic sit and discuss it in front of a target group or audience. This is a type of symposium, conference, panel discussion or focus group discussion. Time starts now. That's it, friends. Now friends, let us see. Can I say this is a type of lecture? No, lecture is usually one person addressing audience. It is already saying these are 4 to 8 persons. So could this be a symposium? Do we have experts in symposium? Yes, they are there. They are qualified to talk on a topic. But answer is not symposium. Why? Symposium is series of lectures where one expert comes, he goes. Then second expert comes, give lecture, goes. Then third expert comes and so on. So this is definitely not a symposium. Can I say this is a focus group discussion? Even that is not correct. Why? Focus group discussion has got no audience. Only a group of people sit on a round table and they discuss with each other on a particular topic. One of them assumes the role of a group leader. So it is not symposium. It is not focus group discussion. Let's read the question carefully now. It says 4 to 8 persons who are qualified to talk about a particular topic. So this is definitely a panel of experts we are talking of. Read the question complete. There are more clues in the question. They say they discuss it in front of an audience. If there is an audience, this has to be a type of panel discussion. Panel of experts discussing a topic in front of an audience. Is it one-way discussion or two-way discussion? It is a two-way. Therefore, it is also a type of Socratic communication. Why two-way? After panel discussion has been done, in the end there is a question answer round where audience can ask questions. I have a question from expert 1, I have a question from expert 2, I have a question from expert 3, like so on. Conference. Conference, the other choice which is left, is usually organized on a bigger scale where multiple institutions can take part and multitude type of health communication methods operate simultaneously. So answer to this question is choice number C, panel discussion. Question number 11. Radically new approach to health education is managed prevention, service approach, primary healthcare approach, or is it health education approach? And your time starts now. So friends, what is the answer? Friends, these are actually 4 types of approaches to health education. Let's look at first of them, managed prevention. Managed prevention, the traditional type, what exactly is that? This is a regulatory approach, also known as legislative or coercive approach. So you bind the public or population by some law and try to apply it forcibly. In health education, it does not work on a sustained basis. Then came service approach. Service approach says doorstep delivery of services. This is found to be successful initially, but later even it is not success to the extent we want. Health education approach. This is a wonderful approach. Very nice and long lasting results. But the problem is it is a very slow approach. So slow but enduring results. The radically new approach is actually primary healthcare approach. Why? Because it is based on not just community participation, but along with that, intersectoral coordination. Because communities' own interest is targeted, they feel more motivation to be a part of that approach towards health education. So I hope you have got this answer right. Let us move towards question number 12 now. Arrange the steps of planning cycle in sequence. You are given 1, programming and implementation. 2 is given as evaluation. 3rd is analysis of, it's not if, analysis of health situation. 4th is objective and goal formulation. It is a sequential arrangement type of question. You can write the answer as 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 2, 4, like so on. And your time starts now. Take 5 more seconds, friend, but mark the answer correctly. Okay, friends, that's it. Friends, whenever such a question comes, suppose you know even 2 or 3 out of the all 4, 5 or 6 steps given from a particular cycle or a sequence, it becomes easy if you know the basic concept. What is the clinching? You can say clinching the diagnosis towards the correct answer to this question is actually remembering the first most step of planning cycle, that is analysis of existing situation. First you analyze the existing situation, then second is objectives and goals formulation, third is first you assess your resources, how will you deal with the problem. After resource assessment, fourth step is prioritization. You cannot tackle all the problems at once, identify in terms of priorities. Then comes plan formulation, make a plan. After making a plan, now comes the implementation phase. It should be followed by monitoring while it's going on, and at the end evaluation. Based on evaluation, we will again redefine our new objectives and goals in light of the existing situation at that time. So friends, now it is all about reading the choices carefully. So what should be the correct sequential answer to this question? 3, 4, then 1 and 2. I hope all of you have got this answer right. Let us move to question number 13. Friends, you will get double the time in this question. This is a match the following type of question. You have to match the names of health committees in India. That is, any synonymous different name also a particular committee is there. There are 4 committees. A is Bhor Committee, B is Mudaliar Committee, C is Jangalwala Committee, and D is Kartar Singh Committee. Then you are given by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. They are different names. One is given as Health Survey and Development Committee. 2 is given as Committee on Multi-Purpose Worker under Health and Family Planning. Third is given Committee on Integration of Health Services. And fourth is given Health Survey and Planning Committees. So you can write your matching answer as A1, B2, C3, D4 like so on. And your time starts now. Half of the time is over, friends. Quickly write as many as you know. That's it, friends. Let's go choice by choice. Let's look at choice number A, Bhor Committee. So Bhor Committee is also known as, very right, Health Survey and Development Committee. So A1. What were the key recommendations of Bhor Committee? One primary health center should be there for 40,000 population. Concept of social physicians. Concept of comprehensive health care. Also it gave the important concept of school health in the country. Look at choice number B, Mudaliar Committee. Mudaliar Committee is also known as Health Survey and Planning Committee. So I can say B, choice number 4. Mudaliar Committee repeated the recommendation, one primary health center should be there for 40,000 population. It also gave the concept of All India Health Services Cadre, which currently is under consideration and may be implemented very soon in the country. Then choice number C, that is Jangalwala Committee, is also known as, very right, Committee on Integration of Health Services in the country. Integration of health services was one of the important recommendations given by Jangalwala Committee. Choice number D, that is Kartar Singh Committee, well known for its recommendation on multi-purpose worker. So A1, B4, C3, D2 I am sure you have marked this question absolutely correct. Please remember, you will get a full mark in a question only if your answer is absolutely correct, no half marks. Question number 14. Critical path in network analysis is most expensive path, congested path, shortest path, longest path, and your time starts now. One of the easy and fast question today. That's it, friends. Let's see what is the answer. Friends, first you tell me, this critical path is a part of which management technique? That is network analysis. Now, what exactly is network analysis? It is a graphic plan of all the event and activities which will help us reach an end point of all the activities. Network analysis actually has got two components. What are these? One is PERT, one is CPM. When we look at PERT, PERT is exactly program evaluation and review technique. This is actually a diagram where all the activities are represented in sequence, how they may be connected to each other along with the timeline duration. This creates several paths in between. CPM is actually critical path method. Now, critical path is a path. If it is delayed, entire project may be delayed. So, this is the question. This critical path is exactly which type of path? This is actually the longest path in the network in terms of not number of activities, rather in terms of its total duration. So, longest path is most critical in network analysis. Question number 15. All of the following are included in methods based on behavioral sciences except personal management, systems analysis, management by objectives or communication, and your time starts now. So friends, what is the answer to this question? Friends, when you look at management techniques, they are broadly divided into two groups. One are those which are based on behavioral sciences. This is the first type of management techniques. And second group is those which are quantitative methods. So when we look at behavioral sciences, this includes 5 techniques. What are these? Organizational design. It also includes MBO, management by objectives. It also includes communication. It also includes personal management. And fifth one, information system. On the other hand, when we look at quantitative methods, this includes CBA, cost benefit analysis, CEA, cost effectiveness analysis, IOA, input output analysis. Beside this, cost accounting. Also, it includes model management technique. It also includes PPBS, planning, programming, budgeting system. It also includes work sampling, decision making, network analysis and systems analysis also. Question is asking except in behavioral sciences. So answer to this question will be systems analysis, which is not a behavioral science based technique. It is actually a quantitative method type of management technique. So friends, this brings us to the end of this quiz. That's it. So friends, what is your score in the quiz today? Based on my personal teaching experience of last 15 years to students, I realize out of 15 questions in the quiz today, you should have got at least 10 correct. So if you have got 10, 12, 11, amazing. If you have got 13, 14 or all 15 correct, very well done, very well done, very well done. You are on a way to achieve a very good rank in the exam. Those of you who have got less than 10, please don't get disheartened. This quiz is to motivate you to excel even further. So go back, practice more questions from whichever source you are reading and just score these topics, because many times students do not focus on these type of shorter chapters. So these chapters are equally important. Kindly go through them. Friends, before I go, I would like to say, be stronger than your excuses. Many times I've seen students gives a variety of excuse why they are not studying, why they are not able to perform well in the exam, why they didn't get a rank as per desire. Yes, some of them may be genuine, I am not denying that, but you have to be more strongest as compared to your excuses. So for your forthcoming examinations, from my side, I wish you all the best. Give your 100%. Best of luck, friends. Friends, those of you who want to download my app, it is available on Play Store. You can use a discount coupon code coupon25 also. This will entitle you to 25% discount. So friends, see you tomorrow for the grand finale quiz number 10, where we will wrap up the complete course of PSM, the remaining chapters. Till then, take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye.